If you want to speak fast and fluent and natural English, then you need to start using these connected speech techniques that I'm going to teach you today. They are amazing. So let's go. It's called connected speech because these techniques help us connect words together so that when we're speaking, it sounds like this, wow, 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 and not like this, ba, 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 ba. So let's have a look at the first technique. Okay, when one word ends with a consonant sound and the next word begins with a vowel sound, we use a linking technique called consonant to vowel linking. And that really helps push the words together to make both words clearer and to make the speech more natural, more quick, and more fluent. Now, we're going to look at a few examples in a minute, but this is really powerful, especially for students who, because of their mother tongue, often miss the last consonant sound in a word, or don't give any importance to the last consonant sound in a word, or actually add an extra sound after words that end in a consonant. So this technique is going to get rid of those bad habits. It's going to help both words be pronounced more clearly and be easier to understand you when you use this technique. So this is how we do it. Let's look at the example, an apple. An ends with a consonant sound. Apple begins with a vowel sound. To help join those words together so that it doesn't sound like an apple, but it sounds like an apple, what we do mentally is take the last consonant sound of the first word, in this case the N of un, and put it at the beginning of the next word. So in your mind, instead of saying an apple, you want to be thinking a napple, a napple, a napple. And if you do that subconsciously, you will link the words together better. You will give the importance to the consonant that it needs to pronounce those two words clearly, push them together, speak more quickly, fluently, and naturally. Let's have a look at a few more examples of this. Big elephant becomes big elephant, big elephant. Brown owl becomes brow nowl, brown owl, brown owl. Come in becomes come in, come in. And expressions like not at all becomes not at all, not at all. And doesn't not at all sound much more natural than not at all, with gaps between the words? We don't want gaps between every word. We want to link everything together to sound fast and fluent. I went on a boat. 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 So that's what happens when one word ends with a consonant sound and the next word begins with a vowel sound. But what happens when one word ends with a consonant sound and the next word begins with a consonant sound? Let's have a look. This is a really, really useful technique for speaking more quickly. Basically, when one word ends with a consonant sound and the next word begins with the same consonant sound, like black and cat, black ends with the k sound, cat begins with the k sound. Well, in these situations, we don't pronounce the consonant sound twice. It's not black cat with a gap between. No, instead we just use one slightly longer consonant sound and join the words together. So instead of black cat, it's black cat with one k sound in the middle. Bad day. It's been a bad day. Bad day. Again, we don't pronounce two d sounds, bad day. No, just use one slightly longer d sound, bad day, bad day. Quite tough. Quite tough. Again, this technique can really help students who naturally put a little sound after words that end with a consonant sound, like quite tough. We don't want to do that. If you do that, it will make it harder for us to understand you. So stop doing that and instead use consonant to consonant linking to join the words together and sound more natural and more easy to understand. Feel lucky. Feel lucky. Pink car. Pink car. Phone number. Phone number. And of course, we can do this many times within the same phrase or sentence. So instead of James started doing good deeds, say, James started doing good deeds. Beautiful. Okay, for the next technique, you're going to need to remember the golden rule of speaking British English. Are you ready? Okay, so the golden rule in British English pronunciation is when you have a vowel sound followed by the letter R in the written word, that letter R is silent, completely silent. Let's have a look at some examples and see if you can hear me pronounce the R sound in any of these words. Car, for, better, near, future, Liverpool, brother, sister. The R is completely silent in these situations. Now, there is one exception to this rule, and that is when we have the vowel sound followed by the letter R. If the next sound is also a vowel sound, then we pronounce the letter R. This can happen in words like experience. Here, the letter R is between two vowel sounds, so we pronounce it. Terrible. Again, it's between two vowel sounds, so we pronounce it. But this also happens when a word ends in the vowel sound plus letter R combination, and the next word begins with a vowel sound. In these situations, we pronounce the letter R. It's called the linking R in this situation because it helps us link one word to the next word without a gap. For example, here we pronounce the letter R in for. For example, the car always breaks down. The car always, the car always breaks down. Instead of there are better options with gaps, we say there are better options with two linking R sounds to make that whole phrase much more natural and fluent. There are better options. They live far away. The future is exciting. This gets better and better. Now, the next technique is kind of similar to this one. We add a R sound to link two words together. The only difference is, with the next one, we don't actually write the letter R in the written word. This is a good one. Okay, look at these next few examples and listen to try to hear a R sound between the words. The idea of it. The idea of it. Vanilla ice cream. Vanilla ice cream. Raw egg. Raw egg. Pizza and pasta on a plate. Pizza and pasta on a plate. That is the intrusive R sound in English. I like to think of it as an imaginary R sound because we don't write it. English is full of silent letters that you write and don't pronounce. Well, here we have one that we don't write, but we pronounce. Crazy. So when do we use this intrusive R sound? Well, in three situations. When one word ends with one of these sounds, like data or idea, or like law or saw, and R, like spa or Panama. When one word ends with one of those sounds and the next word begins with a vowel sound, we put a little R sound to link the words together, even though we don't write it. So instead of your data is secure, we say your data is secure. Instead of law and order, we say law and order. Law and order. And instead of the spa at the hotel, we say the spa at the hotel. The spa at the hotel. Isn't that fun? Now, listen, when I'm teaching this inside my pronunciation course, a lot of students ask me if they do this in American English too. And the answer is no. This is a real British English characteristic. It will help you speak faster English and sound more natural if British English is your focus. But regardless of that, it will help you to understand native British English speakers more easily if you're familiar with this technique. Okay, so we've seen the linking R and the intrusive R. Now let's have a look at another linking sound. So we've seen this with the linking R and intrusive R. When one word ends with a vowel sound and the next word begins with a vowel sound, something needs to go in the middle to join the words together. We've looked at the R options, but with this technique, we're going to add a little Y sound in the middle, like the Y of yes or yellow. Y, y, y. So listen, instead of Ellie ate the juicy orange, we say Ellie ate the juicy orange. Ellie ate the juicy orange. Orange. Ellie ate the juicy orange. So here's the rule for this linking Y technique. Basically, when one word ends with these sounds, E, like T, and then these three diphthongs that end with the E sound. I, like by, A, like today, and oi, like boy. So think by, T, today, boy. By I-E-A, oi. When one word ends with one of these sounds and the next word begins with a vowel sound, put the linking Y between the words to link them together. You can rely on me. You can rely, you can rely on me. Let's try out that new place. Let's try out, yout. Let's try out that new place. Now, one really common situation where we use this is with the word the. Because there are two ways to pronounce the. If it's followed by a consonant, we say the table, the chair. But if the word the is followed by a vowel sound, the becomes the, and because it ends E, we need to put a little linking Y sound to link it to the next word. So, the actor, the actor. The end, the ice cream, the orange, the umbrella. So it's not a very strong Y sound. It can often happen naturally when you're pronouncing the E and making the transition to the next vowel sound. But just be aware that there is a little Y sound to link those words together. And that is the linking Y. Now this is something that I correct my pronunciation students a lot. It's the linking W sound, like the W like want, or white. W. Again, we use it when one word ends with a vowel sound and the next word begins with a vowel sound, but in this situation, we use it when the first word ends with one of these vowel sounds. Oo, and the diphthongs that include this oo sound at the end, they are ow and o. Ow, o. Look at my lips when I'm pronouncing these words. Oo, ow, o. When I'm pronouncing those sounds, My mouth ends in this position. So it's natural then that the transition from that shape of mouth to the next word that begins with a vowel starts like this. Where, were. So naturally, we make a little w sound. And if you use that w sound, it will really help you join the words together to speak more quickly, naturally, and fluently. The most obvious example of this is with the expression, how are you? How ends with the ow sound. The next word begins with a vowel sound, so we put a little w. How were. How are you? How are you? Can you imagine? Can you Can you imagine? Wimagine? Can you imagine? Did you hear? Again, we put a little w sound to link the words together. And again, one of the most common places that we'll find this is when we're using the word to. Now, when we're speaking very quickly, to can often become t, using the schwa sound, t. I'm going to the shop to buy something to take to the party. Do you hear? However, if the word to is followed by a vowel sound, we need to pronounce it two, like the number 2. And we will then include a linking w sound between that and the next word. I want to ask you a favor. To ask. I want to ask you a favor. I don't want to avoid it. To avoid it. Johnny went to Australia. To Australia. Okay, now let's have a look what happens when we put all these linking techniques together. So listen the first time with me and then practice saying this little story using all the connected speech techniques that we've done in today's lesson. Let's have a look. Ellie, a big elephant, had a bad day and went on a boat to relax. A black cat on the boat took her to a vanilla ice cream shop on an island. Ellie wanted a better option, so she went to Australia and New Zealand, where she found a new way of life with a brother and sister elephant. The end. Okay, let's do it one more time, and I want you to read the text at the same time as me. Let's go. Ellie, a big elephant, had a bad day and went on a boat to relax. A black cat on the boat took her to a vanilla ice cream shop on an island. Ellie wanted a better option, so she went to Australia and New Zealand, where she found a new way of life with a brother and sister elephant. The end. Okay, there's a link in the description to join my daily quick fix group. We look at pronunciation techniques like this every single week. And in fact, every day inside the group, I give you a lesson to help you take your pronunciation, speaking, listening, grammar, and vocabulary to an advanced level. So if you want to speak fast, fluent English and understand native speakers, fast speaking native speakers more easily, then click the link in the description and use the coupon code there, which will give you a discount for your first month inside the group. So thanks for watching, subscribe, blah, 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 and I'll see you in the next lesson. Bye for now.